So now let's review this homework requirement. This is a series of several questions, but basically it's a series of questions. So the first question is creating a new shape color, which is a bunch of shape colors, of course, and create an interface colored shape, which has a method getColor. There will be a color shape with color. This method will return one value from the enumerate shape color. And then we will create a class immutable colored rectangle, which is a subclass of rectangle. But then remember, it's immutable and colored. So because it is colored, it will also implement a color shape interface. Now it should have a field color of enumerate shape color type. In addition, it should have a no arc constructor, which with a default color, a constructor with length and width with a default color, and a constructor with 3 parameters, length, width, and color. So these are like pretty straightforward. Now, because it's immutable, you are not supposed to set width and the length once it's created. So you should also override the set width and set length method. They should not change the field value. Instead, they should print out a message saying that this one is immutable. And finally, we will have a main method, which will create some rectangle interfaces in instances, and then test out their field values. So let's start by creating the package first. We haven't created a package in our videos in a while, so I hope we still all remember how to do it. It will be assignment 7. And inside assignment 7, we will create a new immute, which is called shape. Shape. And we should have a series of values. Shape. Usually, by default, we will use uppercase. All uppercase separated by underscore. Different words are separated by underscore. Shape, color, blue, shape, color, green, shape, color, orange, shape, color, black, and shape, color, white. Why did I ask you guys to do so many color? 3 should be enough. Okay, so this is shape color enumeration. Let's add interface. The interface will be called colored shape, which apparently is a shape with color. So because it's a shape with color and it's interface, we will have a getColor method. The return type of getColor will be shape color. And I forgot the semicolon. So these are the first 2 steps that we want to create. So next, we will create a class immutable colored rectangle. New class immutable color rectangle, which will extend. I pressed the cap lock. Extend rectangle. We have multiple rectangles, so which one should we import? I think they are actually the same. There should be some suggestion. No? Okay, how? Okay, we will, I think it's in chapter 6. Now I open that up and double click on rectangle. Do we have a suggestion? Right now, yes. So it just takes Eclipse some time to get used to it, to figure out where this rectangle locates at. So now we have a series of requirements. And let me copy this all over here. Eventually, these will all be our comments. These two, let me make it more readable. So this way. All right, so we have three constructors. We should define three constructors. Each, let's just create the first one. Maybe let me also provide proper indentation first. Now, public, which is a non-arg. For a non-arg one, we will also call a super. We will first call super. And remember, we have this shape, color field. Then once you call super, you create a rectangle all using default value. Then your color should equals to the default shape color dot. I believe we want to set as red. Right. The next step is to create a color with two parameters, which is len and double len and double width. And we will create the super, we will invoke this super constructor, length and width, to create the first, the rectangle superclass object instance. Then we set the color by default. And finally, we should have a constructor with three parameters, which is the color, shape color, C. And this one, color should equal to C. So we are also setting the length and width of the superclass. So for superclass instance, and we also set our own field. Now the three different constructors, each with the same name, but different signature. And what is this called? Same name, different signature within the same class. This is called overload, right? In addition, we will start to write our own set width and set length method. And this will be the same name. Let me bring up rectangle. The set width, set length and set width is defined as public void set length. Instead of, so we are defining with the same signature of a different class, of a superclass. This is called override. So instead of calling the superclass the set length, we are saying, no, we are not going to call it. Instead, we will just call a system.out.print line. This immutable rectangle is immutable, so you cannot change its size. This immutable rectangle is immutable, so you cannot change its size. Similarly, we are going to create a set width. And so we have the same note here. In rectangle, the set width is the set width double W. And here we are using set width double width. But this doesn't matter. The name of the parameter doesn't matter. The most important thing, the only important thing is the name and the data type list. The list of the data type, that's a signature. So these two, although we have a different parameter name, it's considered as a override. It's still considered as override. It's still considered they have the same signature, and the subclass signature will override the superclass method. So finally, we will create a main method. What am I doing? Public static void main string args. So I'm going to create a rectangle R1 equals to, let me create a one with no argument. Oh, I think I missed one part, which asks us to implement colored shape. And I forgot to save here, so let me save it. Now we will have error. Why there's error? You can guess why we will have error, but basically it says colored shape. Now we still have an error. We will still have an error. Why? Because this time it's not in the color shape part. It's in the immutable color rectangle or class part. We haven't implemented this method get color. So I'm going to add this method, which is here. I'm going to return color. Which is our instance field. Now let me move this up a little bit so that we will have a create a main method thing. The first thing, we're going to create 4 rectangles, 2, 3, and 4. The fourth rectangle will be just a regular rectangle. And here we are going to have a 1, 10, and 20. And we'll also have 10, let's say 100, 200, 200. And shape, color, dot. Let's use blue. Okay, now we created 4 rectangles. 3 of them are immutable colored rectangle. First, let's all system print get length. Two, three, 4. And let's run this. All of them are properly created. And this default rectangle has a zero length, as well as the first one. How about, now let me comment this out, because we don't need this for now. But how about we want to print get color, which is a method, right? But there's an error. Why? Because the method get color is undefined for the type rectangle. The method get color is only defined in our immutable colored rectangle. It is not defined in the rectangle. So if I want to call it, I need to cast it to a immutable rectangle. So right now, the R1 rectangle is actually an immutable colored rectangle. But so if I run this, I will be able to Java virtual machine will able to find the get color method inside this object, but within the Java code, the Java compiler is not able to tell whether R1 is a immutable color rectangle or not. That's why you see the error. Once I use this casting, you will be able to run this get color, because now Java virtual machine, Java compiler knows this one should be of type immutable colored rectangle. It's red. And I think that maybe I should use the R3, which should be blue. The only, people will ask, what if I say this is the immutable colored rectangle, but it's not, maybe it's a square? And the answer is then Java virtual machine will fail. At the runtime, there will be a runtime error that the object does not match the method you are calling. But before we close, let's do one more thing. That I'm going to move this, comment this out too. And let's do a set length. Let's do a set length to all of them to 10, to 5. Let's run. Oops, there is an error. What's the error? Oh, because these are, they are all void. There's no printout. So I'm just going to remove this print, and we will see how things going. Let's see. I made a mistake. I think I'm missing something. Let me remove all the parentheses. I do not need the parentheses to run this. Right, now let's run. You can see that the first 3 set lengths actually goes to the immutable color rectangle set length method. And it actually invokes the system print. Only the last one, last set length, was successful. If I do a printout now, the last one is successfully set to 5. So this is another example of polymorphism.